How are you doing and how have you been? My name is Dazasko and this is my quick basic Rimworld guide for beginners explaining growing zones. First of all, this guide will assume that you have pawns on the correct work priorities in order to grow. If you need a little bit of help with that, no worries. I'll pop up my video of work priorities up the top hand right corner or somewhere magically on the screen. Just a quick distinction about growing and plant cutting that is very common for new players to sort of mess up. Growing will sow and harvest fields, and also plant cut will harvest and cut if you use the tool. If I go into orders, harvest, if you do it manually like that, then anyone that is on plant cutting will do that job. Don't take my strawberry. So growing is specifically the skill that we will want for this growing zone task. First of all, if you go to the right bottom corner and click this tab, which toggles the fertility, I'm dyslexic. First of all, you will need to come down to the bottom right hand corner to toggle fertility for the overlay. And then you will see the different fertile grass. Don't be too scared. Very, very simple. You will need to look down to the bottom left hand corner for it basically to anything that your mouse is pointed on, it will show you. Basically, the brighter the green, the better the grass, or the better the growing area, I should say, and orange being, quite bad, but it's the fertility percentages that we are paying attention to. This gravelly or stony soil, as the game says, gives us 70%. This is directly linked to how fast any crop on this certain terrain would grow. 70%. Normal on this light, this is just normal soil, and then we have fertile soil, the rich soil, the good stuff that you want to try and get to, which is at 120%. While it is worth prioritizing these 140% fertile rich soils, at the same time, if it's too far away from your base, I wouldn't worry too much. However, if you can have a base with this that doesn't impact where you're living too much, that would be key. That's why my base luckily had this rich soil in. But then I ruined it by putting loads of stone roads on just because, you've got to make a pretty base. When a growing zone is selected, for example, growing zone 1, which is our rice field, you can change what is being grown by clicking on this button here. It will tell you all the skills that you were needed for certain things. And also if you click the indicator, being the show information, it will generally give you the speed and everything like that. Only one type of plant can be selected for each individual growing zone. And when selecting a field, it will also give you a choice to grow and cut. Normally you want to leave these two unticked. However, if there is a case of ambrosia that has sprouted on the map or some bushes like here, let's go delete that. We can then add a growing zone over these berry bushes. We know they're berry bushes by clicking on them and by getting further information. Berry bushes do not give a negative for being eaten raw. We could put a growing zone above them and disallow sowing. So nothing will be grown here. However, the berry bushes still will be harvested. As A is politely showing us now. Good job, A. But make sure allow cutting is on, as I click A and right click these bushes, we can see he will no longer do anything. By ticking A and not allowing sowing, which sowing is the plant of choice that we have chosen, when we click A and right click him, he will then harvest the berries. And you can do this all around the map with different things that pop up. There's some more berry bushes down here. However, normally you won't want to use this strategy if you've got maybe a lot of berries early game that you want to get some early food, or ambrosia, which is really good to sell or make naughty drugs out of. Normally you want a bigger gap between your crops, normally 4 spaces in between. So if we go to our planning, normally 4 spaces in between is what you are going to want. This is going to stop a blight happening. Now, blight is an event that will pop up on your screen that basically, for example, will pop up. You'll see a little yellow thing pop up over your crops, which basically spread and kill it. To deal with this, you have to click the Architect tab, go to Orders, and manually drag all this. Equally, you can click on your colonist that you know has plant cutting. So that would be A. You can right click to tell him to start doing it. Then you can hold left shift and keep doing it. And if you see very closely, you can see I'm chaining these all together. If I just right click and click cut, you see it won't queue up any tasks. But by holding left shift, but make sure you tell him to, make sure you first right click to tell him to cut it, or he will go do whatever he wants to do. Equally, you can draft and undraft and he'll reset. It shows you what he's doing here. So to first of all, to break what he's doing, because if I hold left shift, you'll see it will be queued under the task that he is currently doing. So then we right click that. You will need to cut all the plants with this blight. By spreading out your crops 4 spaces apart, then it will mean the blight won't be able to jump from one growing zone to another. So that's really important for if you have a big field of corn or something, try and separate it as best as possible. Equally, if there is toxic fallout, you can make pathing like I've started to do here and build a roofing area over it. This comes in real good handy down the line if there is toxic fallout. To do this, you would need to place columns, and you can see the area of effect or the area that they would then hold a roof in, for example. So something like that would be fine. Then you would go to your zone, build roof area, and you would build it just over the paths. So if there's toxic fallout, which could potentially make your colonists ill or give them cancerous cells, you could address this by that. They would still get toxic fallout through dealing with the plants and whatnot, but that's a good way to get around. Equally, you can double click on any growing zone. It will automatically select all the growing zones that is currently shown on your screen. This can be handy if you've got lots of growing zones like this or lots of little ones that you don't want to click on individually. Or it is winter and you want to turn sowing off altogether. By clicking this, that will mean all the growing zones will have the same settings. However, make sure to remember to click them back on. I hope this quick guide has been helpful, and if there's anything else that you... I hope this quick guide has been helpful, and if there is anything else that you feel could help new players, feel free to leave a comment below to help others through the wonderful world of Rimworld. And I hope you have a good time, like our party people in the background that decided to have a fight. As always, I'll catch you next time, party people. Bye.